Okay, let's jump right into this explainer on the much talked about 3,811 crore IND-M IPO. We're going to do a deep, data-driven dive to figure out what's actually happening beneath all the market hype right now. I mean, at first glance, a 3,800 crore IPO for a manufacturing heavyweight sounds super exciting, right? But as focused learners, we know we can't just stop at the headlines. We really need to unpack the actual business, the valuation, and crucially, where all that money is really going. And well, this number is exactly why everyone is talking about it. A massive, unofficial gray market premium, or GMP, has been hovering right around 37% lately. It's literally the kind of number that immediately grabs your attention and triggers serious FOMO across both retail and institutional channels alike. But with expectations running this incredibly hot, we've got to stop and ask ourselves right out of the gate, is all this excitement actually a trap for the everyday retail investor? It's so easy to see a high double-digit premium and just assume listing day is a guaranteed payday. But history actually tells us a very different story when we rely solely on unofficial hype. To see why, let's just rewind a bit and look at the SBI Funds Management IPO. Before it listed, its gray market premium was pointing to some really strong expectations, hovering around 16 to 17%. But then, listing day actually hit. The opening premium was nowhere near the hype. It settled at a pretty sobering 6.85%. It wasn't a total loss, sure, but it absolutely shattered the expectations of folks who applied purely based on that gray market excitement. So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that GMP just measures unofficial, unregulated sentiment. It does not determine concrete value, and it for sure does not dictate the actual listing price. This is exactly why we have to put the noise aside and investigate the real business numbers. We need to know what we are actually buying into. So what exactly is INDO-MIM? Well, they aren't some trendy new fintech app or a flashy food delivery service. INDO-MIM is a heavy-hitting global precision engineering company. Their core technology? Metal injection molding. So imagine taking the flexibility of regular plastic injection molding to create super complex shapes, but combining it with the sheer strength of solid metal. They mix metal powder with a binder, inject it into molds, and create incredibly precise components. And they're doing this at a massive scale, across a global manufacturing footprint for critical sectors like automotive, aerospace, medical devices, and defense. Now, what's really interesting here is their aggressive top-line growth. Because this is a heavy manufacturing business, right? Factories require massive capital, so the growth needs to be undeniable to make it worth it. And honestly, it is. Total revenues surged from around 2,900 crores back in FY24, climbed to 3,370 crores in FY25, and broke right past the 4,300 crore mark in FY26. The business is very clearly expanding its global footprint. But revenue alone just isn't enough. We have to know if that growth is scalable and, more importantly, profitable. And even better, their profit after tax scaled perfectly alongside that revenue. It rocketed from roughly 284 crores in FY24 to a highly impressive 534 crores by FY26. That tells us they aren't just burning cash to grow, they're actually translating top-line expansion directly into bottom-line profits. And they pulled this off with an incredibly strong return on capital employed, or ROCE, of roughly 26.6%. Look, in the world of heavy manufacturing where giant factories, heavy machinery, and high working capital usually drag down efficiency, an ROCE above 20% is highly attractive. It shows the management team is making super efficient use of the capital employed in the business. So on paper, the fundamental business engine looks phenomenal. The financial foundation is undeniably strong, but we have to look past the income statement. We need to ask the single most important question of this entire investigation. Where is your 3,811 crore rupees IPO investment actually going? Let's break down the actual issue structure, because it reveals a completely different reality. Honestly, this changes the entire narrative of the IPO. A staggering 87% of this 3,811 crore issue is an offer for sale, or OFS. Only about 13%, which translates to roughly 500 crore, is actually a fresh issue. What does that mean for you? It means approximately 3,311 crore rupees does not go to INDO-MIM to build new factories, buy new machinery, or fund future growth. Nope, that money goes straight into the pockets of exiting shareholders. The sellers include entities like Green Meadows Investments, Anur the Coterie, and, fascinatingly, IIT Madras. And while it's totally normal for early investors to seek liquidity, as a new investor, you've got to realize you're primarily just buying out the old guard, not funding an exciting new growth phase. And what about that tiny fraction, that 500 crore rupees that the company actually receives from the fresh issue? Well, about 400 crore rupees of it is already earmarked just to pay down or prepay their existing consolidated borrowings, which were sitting at roughly 1,212 crore rupees recently. So this IPO is essentially a massive liquidity event for existing owners, packaged together with a quick balance sheet cleanup for the company. Now, to buy into this debt-repaying, heavily OFS-weighted structure, you are being asked to pay a pretty serious premium valuation. At the upper price band of 485 rupees, the market is assigning INDO-MIM a multiple of approximately 45 times its FY26 earnings. That implies a post-issue market cap of around 24,000 crore rupees. At 45 times earnings for a capital-intensive manufacturing business, the market is essentially pricing in absolute perfection. If growth slows down even a little, if international supply chains face geopolitical hiccups, or if margins compress, a valuation this high leaves almost zero room for execution errors. Yet, despite that steep price tag and the heavy OFS structure, the demand has been absolutely fierce. By the close of day 2 bidding, non-institutional investors, the H&I category, had already subscribed over 4 times. And the retail segment, fully booked, crossing 1.1 times. Overall, the issue was subscribed roughly 1.47 times before the final and usually busiest day of bidding even kicked off. This retail frenzy is largely being validated by a massive 1,141 crore anchor book. When everyday investors see heavyweights like BlackRock-related funds stepping in early, it pushes the FOMO into overdrive. It creates this psychological safety net, making people think, well, if the smart money is in, I should be too, right? And that brings us right back to the trap. When you combine strong subscriptions, heavy institutional backing, and 37% GMP, the math starts playing tricks on your mind. Adding that hypothetical GMP to the 485 issue price implies a listing price of around 665 rupees. For a retail lot of 30 shares, that looks like a paper profit of roughly 5,400 rupees. But counting paper profits before you've even received an allotment, that is exactly how investors get trapped. You absolutely must separate the noise of unofficial gray market hype from the sobering reality of what actually happens on listing day. Market conditions, broader global economic sentiment, or even just institutional profit booking can instantly wipe out those unofficial premiums in a heartbeat. This brings us to a stark choice about your own identity as an investor. Are you simply a listing gain speculator, obsessed with subscription rates and unregulated GMP? Or are you a long-term investor? Because a real long-term investor is looking directly at that 45x multiple, the massive 87% OFS, the capital-intensive nature of manufacturing, and the very real risks of running global operations. When we look at our final investigative scorecard, it really is a tale of two realities. On one hand, you have an undeniably incredible underlying business, strong revenue growth, scaling profits, and an exceptional 26.6% ROCE. But on the exact same token, that brilliant operating performance is completely overshadowed by an aggressive 87% offer for sale and a highly demanding 45x PE valuation. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to test your actual strategy. Forget the hype for just a second. Imagine you wake up tomorrow. The company is exactly the same, the financials are the same, the valuation is the same, but that 37% GMP has completely vanished down to zero. Based entirely on the business fundamentals and the price you were being asked to pay, would you still apply?